welcome to yet another Monday. Today is March 15th and it's time to check our bell work. Again, please remember to correct any errors that you may have made. It says solve, write your answers in simplest form as mixed or whole numbers whenever possible. So for number one, we are adding, I have 9/10 plus 4/5. You might notice that the first three problems you probably did have all the same numbers in them but different operations. So with this first one, because it's addition, we should have a common denominator. And when I look at this, I see I can multiply 5 by 2 to get 10. So I would multiply 4/5 by 2 over 2 and add 9/10 plus 8/10. And 9 plus 8 is 17. So I have 17/10, and this is improper. So let's change it to a mixed number. 10 goes into 17 one time, and there are 7 left over to get to 17 from 10 over 10. So 1 and 7/10. Now for number two, it's 9/10 minus 4/5, right? We just did that here and we got a common denominator. So we would do the same thing, except this would be 9/10 minus 8/10. And 9 minus 8 is 1. So 1/10. For number three, it's multiplication. So I would look to see, can I cross simplify? 9 and 5 I can't. I don't know if you caught this, but you can with 4 and 10. I know 4 doesn't go into 10, but 2 goes into both of those. So you could have divided 4 by 2 and gotten 2, and 10 by 2 to get 5. And you end up with 9 times 2 is 18, and 5 times 5 is 25. If you had 36/50ths, you could have divided them both by 2. So 18/25 should be your final answer because that's simplest form. On to division. We learned that when you're trying to divide a fraction by something, that we can use the inverse operation just to make it go a little faster for us. And I know we could draw a picture too. Pictures are just fine. I'm just gonna write it out using the inverse. So 1/5, we can't change what we start with when we're dividing, but I can multiply this by the reciprocal of 9, which this would be 9 over 1, right? So 1/9. 1 times 1 is 1, and 5 times 9 is 45. All right. For number 5, same digits, yes, but now I'm dividing 9 by 1/5. We switch the order, and order does matter when you divide. I leave my 9 alone, and I can multiply by the reciprocal of 1/5, which would be 5 over 1, or in this case, just putting it as a 5 is fine. 9 times 5 is 45. 1/45 and 45 are definitely not the same value. Okay, so it does make a difference. Make sure that's what you have. And number 6, I have 5 divided by 9, which 5 divided by 9, that's what that would look like. These are just fractions or little division problems. The way we end up getting this though is this is the same as 5 times 1/9, and 5 times 1/9 is 5 over 9. Okay, Maya equally divides, so that's kind of nice because they tell you the word divides. Well, they is me, I made this up. So Maya equally divides 24 ounces of juice into 5 cups. How many ounces of juice are in each cup? Write and solve an equation. So you know that the operation's division, right? Because she equally divides 24 ounces of juice into 5 cups. What is the thing that she's dividing up? She's dividing up the juice, right? So the juice needs to go first. So in your equation, you should have 24 divided by 5. And we can solve 24 divided by 5. You can just look at this as 24 over 5, but we can also arrive at our answer by using multiplication. 24 times 1/5 is the same as dividing by 5. So we get the 24/5 I was talking about before. 5 goes into 24 4 times. That gets me closest. 5 times 4 is 20. And it takes 4 more to get to the 24 out of 5. So 4 and 4/5, that's how many ounces you should put in each cup so that everyone gets an equal amount. Number 8, Josie has 2 dogs. This is 1/4 the amount that her cousin Rachel has. Oops, that should be capital. How many dogs does Rachel have? Write and solve an equation. So Josie has 2, and 2 is 1/4 the amount that her cousin Rachel has. How many dogs does Rachel have? Now there's a couple different ways that you can look at this. When it says this is, that means what Josie has is, so you can say 2 equals, because that word is means equals, 1/4 the amount that Rachel has. So I'm just gonna use an R for Rachel. So I know that I can take 1/4 of how much Rachel has and get what Josie has, right? So in order to solve this, to figure out 1/4 times what is 2, remember we can use division. This is kind of like that problem where I gave you the area of the rectangle in one of the sides and you had to find the other. Remember we took the total and divided it by the other factor. So I can use division to help me figure this out. 2 divided by 1/4, which to solve that, that's the same as 2 times 4, which is 8. 8 dogs. So let's ask ourselves if this makes sense. Josie has 2 dogs, and that's 1/4 of the amount that her cousin Rachel has. That means that Josie has less because it's only 1/4 of what Rachel has. So 8 is correct. And you are done checking your belt work. Good luck with the rest of your stuff. Thanks for watching.